He's done it!
Throws up the floater.
Oh, it's astonishing.
Pulls off three-pointer.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay, welcome back to another episode of Off the Record. I'm your host Bailey Jackson, joined by my co-host Lachelle Smith. And hey, it's a different day, same show. It's Monday, of course, but you know the routine. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I want to throw it back to 2 days ago when I was in Vegas for F1. Really cool experience being out there. Lachelle, have you had the chance to go to a F1 Grand Prix?
I want to say I went 2 years ago when it first, I think that was almost 2 years ago now that maybe whenever the first one was, I was there for it. It was super cool. I haven't been back since, but it looks like you had an amazing time. Was that your first time or?
That was my first time. So
Okay.
yeah, I was soaking it all in as a newbie to the sport. Although I had the opportunity to see the F1 movie on Apple TV, and phenomenal film. If you and anyone in the chat has not had the chance to watch it yet, taught me so much about the sport. So I really didn't know anything prior to seeing that movie. So it was really cool just learning kind of the behind the scenes of what goes into race day. The fact that they're racing for a team, a car, in this case McLaren or Ferrari or Mercedes, Red Bull Racing, which is really cool to me because I feel like it almost reminds me of golf to a degree, where it's like it can be an individual sport, but it can also be a team sport depending on kind of what level you are. And I like that that's applied to F1 as well. What I don't like about this sport is how it prices people out. And I could get into this like whole rant about this, like not only from a fan perspective, but even just like from a driver perspective, the way you have to have so much money to be, and just in racing in general, NASCAR, IndyCar, F1. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars go into racing at such a young age. And it makes it very clear why you only see a certain demographic of individuals behind those wheels. And that's what I don't love about the sport. But I also give my kudos to Lewis Hamilton for being one of the few Black drivers out there, because he's obviously, one, made a name for himself for being good, but also for being a minority in a sport where you just probably aren't going to see a whole lot of minorities. So yeah, a lot of interesting history, a lot of interesting facts and information and people that are involved. We got to see Beyonce this weekend, Jay-Z in the house. There's a lot of folks out there, a lot of folks. So yeah, overall really good weekend. Verstappen won. McLaren drivers got eliminated. There was a lot of kind of big headlines that came out of this race. Got the next race in Qatar, I believe, in like 8 days. It's crazy, the turnaround time. It's almost like a football game. Like I have a race every week. We got someone in the chat saying F1 looks fun. Yeah, highly recommend, depending on where you're at in the world. We've got 3 Grand Prix in the US. There's a Canadian one too. I don't know where that one is specifically, but definitely some opportunities for people to go check it out. Highly recommend.
It's Monaco, right? I feel like that's the one I saw where you could watch it on a yacht. Like
on a yacht, yeah.
That's where I want to go. I want to go to Monaco. Like, F1 is a wealth indicator. I feel like a lot of people, there's football, right? And there's basketball. We love all those things. But I feel like when it comes to F1, that's like, I don't know. It's something very, I don't want to say prissy. I don't want to say that. It's just, it's very bougie. It is. Like, it's like, ooh, like I'm
like, oh, you got money.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're in the paddock club. Like, you got money. Like, yeah, it's different.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's interesting though, because like a lot of people there were invited by brands. So it's not necessarily, I want to know like the ratio to, oh, I paid for this ticket, like especially for the Paddock Club. Like I paid the $15,000 for this ticket versus I'm with Raising Cane's, or I'm with Sports Illustrated, or I'm with Apple TV, or this, that, and the third company who's just paying for a suite. You know what I mean? Because obviously the brands have money for that, but once you get down to individuals, like $15K for a day is crazy.
It's
Crazy. That's
insane. And you can
yeah.
tell they just want people. Some brands, I felt like I saw people who were like, oh, I was invited by so and so, but it didn't seem like they had deliverables. Like they could just go and make content, vlogging, have fun. I feel like F1 is the one where it's like, we actually do not care if you have content for this. The fact that you're just here is going to be enough for us to push. Because if you say, like, oh, I'm in the Raising Cane's, suite or whatever, like, that's enough for them. Like they
Right.
don't want you, like, I feel like NFL basketball, like they want you to do the deliverables. They want you to talk about it's the finals and this. And like F1 is like, you being here is
Enough.
literally all the indication. Yeah, all we need.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that Raising Cane's suite specifically, Cane's, first of all, shout out Cane's because they've really been on their big one when it comes to marketing. I feel like every big event, they've got the who's who of what and whatever. And like every big name is there. Because even for Super Bowl, like, I mean, they've been Tyla, Travis Scott, OBJ,
Yeah.
the whole cast of Love Island. Like, they really know how to bring out, like, not even bring
Mhm.
out, like, they've got the people. They've got the people, and the
Sure.
people are at their events. And that was the same case for F1. Travis Scott, Michael Rubin. I mean, Kyle Kuzma, the list goes on. I mean, there's too many people to name. Those are just the ones that are coming to my mind right now. But like I said, crazy weekend. Highly recommend going to F1 race to a Grand Prix if you have the chance, if you have the means. Obviously, we just talked about how expensive it is, and now I'm saying like go to a race. I understand it's not doable for everybody, but if you have an opportunity, don't say no. And if you're not paying for it, definitely don't say no. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and jump into some other action this weekend in Vegas, because not only was F1 in Vegas this weekend, Vegas was packed with sporting events. What were we talking about earlier? What's it called? The Players Era tournament?
Oh, the Players Era tournament
Yes.
for college basketball. Yep.
Yes. So that started, I believe, maybe yesterday, if not a couple days before. So we got racing, we've got basketball, we've got both men's and women's college basketball, and of course we have the Browns versus the Raiders. This is arguably the hottest topic in sports this weekend because Shedeur Sanders got his first start of the season with the Browns that led to a 24-10 win over the Raiders, making Shedeur the first Browns quarterback to win his first career start since 1999. I had the privilege, the honor, the pleasure to attend this game live and in person. I was very impressed with what I saw, that 50-yard deep ball, Myles Garrett reaction, crowd going crazy. I'm seeing kids in the stadium hitting the Shedeur. The amount of influence this guy has is actually insane. I'd honestly compare it. I feel like we haven't seen an athlete have this amount of impact since, like, honestly, maybe even Allen Iverson. I don't know if that's like too big of a shoe to fill, but that's what I've been feeling at least since I saw him yesterday. Like I said, overall, a really good debut for him. He's in the post-game press conference talking about, people want to see me fail. It's not going to happen. I fully believe it at this point. What do you see yesterday? And are you buying into this Shedeur Sanders Browns wave? Because it has been mentioned that he will be the starting quarterback this week against the 49ers.
I just got done reading this book, which is like the King's like autobiography of like quarterbacks and like Montana and Young and Brady and all these people. And the number one thing is like they have a real delusional confidence. And I think he has delusional confidence for the right reasons. I think for whatever it is, you want to watch him either because you really do want to see him fail, or you really want to see, like, is he going to prove like all of us wrong? Because I think even if you're a fan, there is a little bit of you that's like, man, is it really going to work out? Is the prophecy going to be fulfilled? Like, is this going to be? In watching him yesterday, you could tell that he wants this really bad. I think everyone wondered, did he care? Did he care? He comes from Dion. He has the money. And you could tell, like, almost like a weight was lifted off him. Like, okay, I could play in this league. I could go out there and win a game. I could go through the ups and downs. I mean, he mentioned the O-line embracing him, which was really important. Like, you could tell he felt like, okay, I can do it. I mean, you hear him before the game. I'm who they've been looking for. Like, there's a little bit of an alter ego to Shedeur, right? Like, he's like, I'm here to do what I got to do. I'm not trying to be a distraction. But like, once the lights are on, he's like, oh, I'm not going to act like you're not here for me. Like, you're here to see me.
Right.
11 for 20, super efficient night, 209 yards. The interception, I think he was just forcing it. That's a rookie thing. One touchdown, the 53-yard dot that he had. I mean, would have probably had another touchdown if Jerry Jeudy don't sit there and fumble the ball. Like, it's a good day. It was a good night for him if you think about your first start and you want to see him build off of that against a really good defense, which is the 49ers, which I think is a really good test. But I think everyone should be like, okay, we're working with something. Like, there's some juice there. People are excited. And to be excited to watch the Cleveland Browns says a lot.
That's a good point. That's such a good point, because the Cleveland Browns is not a team that a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I can't wait to sit down and watch them on a Thursday, Sunday, or Monday night. Absolutely not. You don't hear those words coming out of people's mouths often. So definitely bringing some hype to a team that doesn't see a lot of conversation around them, and then in the most positive way, so to say. Somebody in the chat said Jerry Jeudy fumble. You mentioned that. Like you said, could have potentially been another touchdown for Shedeur and the Browns. You mentioned Dylan Gabriel as well. It's interesting. I have a stat here. Gabriel's career high in yards in the NFL is 221 when he had 52 pass attempts. Shedeur is at 209 yards off 20 pass attempts in his first start. Looking at the comparison there, I know a lot of people do not want to see Dylan Gabriel back on the field. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think Shedeur should start the rest of the season? Do you think it should be a switch off between the two? Because it has been noted that Gabriel is cleared from concussion protocol, so he could very well come back and play.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I said after the game that I thought it was fair for Shedeur to start this coming week, which they've already announced, because I think he got you something that you haven't had, which is a win. You should reward somebody with at least another opportunity to start if they get you a win. I feel for Dylan Gabriel on a lot of ways. Like, I think fans are like, if you defend Dylan Gabriel, you're against Shedeur. If you're for Shedeur, you're against Dylan Gabriel. And like, that's really not the case. I think if we are talking about football and if we're going to sit here and say wins matter and all these things matter, well, he got something. He got a win. Like, you look at those stats, he was able to almost put up the same amount of yards in one game. And you've had way more opportunities. So I think it is fair criticism and also fair critique to be like, hey, he went out there. And what we saw, it wasn't amazing and it wasn't great, but it was good. And it was something to build off on. And we've seen enough of you, and I don't think we feel the same way just yet. He was able to do that in one game, and you saw it. The defense was ready to play. The offense was ready to play. That locker room likes Shedeur. They want him out there. I think we talk about Myles Garrett. That look that he had was like, oh, he's going to go out there and do it. Like, to throw that running right and just perfect dot. Like, you could tell everybody was like, oh, like he's not playing around with us. Like, he for real want to go out here and really throw this football and win this game and is playing with no fear. And it is rightfully so. I feel for Dylan Gabriel, but I think we all have to be honest. We never thought Dylan Gabriel was going to be a starter in the NFL. I don't know why everyone's trying to change that narrative, but none of us were saying that. He was never in the first round. He was never in the second round conversations. We all collectively, NFL analysts also, if they want to go back on that, nobody was sitting there putting the flag in the ground like he's a starter. None of us were saying that. So I think order is being restored. Shedeur was a guy that we thought was going to be an NFL starter. This is where he should be, and he should be given the opportunity even to lose some games, as Dylan Gabriel had the opportunity, for us to see what does this look like with him as QB1.
No, absolutely. I do want to clarify too, because I know we've said previously that when the season first started, when Shedeur was labeled as QB4 on the depth chart, that we thought there was no chance we're going to see him start. So difference between him actually, like the reality of him starting versus no, he is the package of a quarterback who could be starting. Just want to make sure that that difference is clarified before anyone tries to pull up any receipts there, because I know how y'all be like to clip stuff and hold it against us. But I do.
To be fair,
What? Oh, go ahead.
we did say things. We did say things were going to have to happen to find him as QB1. We did say that. We were like,
yes,
hey, some crazy things are going to have to happen for it to and some crazy things did indeed happen.
Yes. No, for sure. A lot of things had to play out in a very certain way. And here we are. Honestly, a little maybe dumbfounded is the word that I should be using, that it worked out the way that it did. But like I said, here we are and we're talking about it now. One thing that I do want to mention, and I really respect it, this individual for showing up and being present. Deshaun Watson, you saw him on the sideline. He made his first road trip of the regular season to help Shedeur in his first start. Like I said, I want to give not flowers, but just, I guess, a shout out to Deshaun, because, you know, he's kind of dealing with his own situation. Has his own baggage that he's carrying, and he showed up to support. Shedeur, obviously being a QB in the league and facing that scrutiny is difficult to deal with, on a regular day, and then throw in, you're a minority quarterback in a league, on top of that, Deshaun knows what that is like. So to kind of walk him through, to be there to support him through all that scrutiny and that noise, kudos to him. But yeah, overall, I like what I saw. I am curious to know if Shedeur is that guy or not. One game against the Raiders, of all teams, not to downplay this win, but not a great team at the end of the day. And it's just one game. What I do know is I definitely want to see him out on that field. So I'm looking forward to next week and what he can do against the 49ers. And hopefully that leads to another start and another start and another start. And, we're at week 17 and we're seeing Shedeur start consistently. So shout out to Shedeur. Shout out to the Browns for getting that dub. But man, them Raiders, man, they fired Chip Kelly just hours after their meltdown against the Browns, which is crazy because 11 games ago, they made him the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league just for him to walk out the door mid-season. Kelly's contract was worth $6 million annually, a deal that reportedly paid more than some NFL head coaches. Isn't that insane?
So crazy.
That's
so crazy.
That number is absolutely insane. With that being said, the Raiders front office, in my opinion, has just made some extremely questionable decisions in general. I mean, paying Chip Kelly that amount of money, outside of Kelly, you've hired a 74-year-old Pete Carroll who's arguably already washed. You traded a pick and paid a bag for Geno Smith, who hasn't necessarily been the answer. You have the worst O-line in the NFL, and what are you going to do when you're firing your special teams coach? You still have the worst O-line. You fire your offensive coordinator, you still have the worst O-line. Raiders say, hey, sorry, we can't fire the O-line coach. He's Pete's son. I feel like it's just it's a never-ending cycle of being trash for the Raiders, unfortunately. I don't know, what the situation will come to for them, but I just want to get your thoughts, Lachelle, and chat. Feel free to chime in here on, like I said, the Raiders saying goodbye to Chip Kelly. What do you feel like is next for this team? And if there is any light at the end of the tunnel for Raider Nation?
I mean, you always got to find someone to have to be sacrificed as indication that things are going wrong. So Chip Kelly getting fired, do I think it's all his fault, especially him being the OC? Not really. I think there is some accountability you have to take, right? You're running this offense. Your job is to get them ready. But I think that's just an organizational thing. Like, this organization has been messed up for at least a few years. And that's going all the way into like the Carr era of everything, and like going to get Devontae Adams, and then Carr is gone, and then Adams is here, and then like it's just been a mess for a while. So like, do I blame Chip Kelly fully? No. The team is bad offensively. They are bad. But I think it goes back to what you said. You have a Pete Carroll who's old. You have Geno Smith that, I mean, there is some debate if time is now running out. Like, you're looking at all these things that I think are the reason why they look as bad as they do. And then the thing that you went and got was a running back, and he's struggling here and there because of the O-line. So let's go. Like, we haven't seen him at full strength yet. Geno hasn't looked good. offensive weapons kind of aren't there. I mean, you got Brock Bowers, but it's like, man, if I can't get you the ball, how good are you then? Like Geno Smith, we saw how much he got sacked. I know he was tired of being in that ground. Like I got tired for him. I'm like, man, somebody got to do something. I would have just sat him down and been like, enough. Like, I think organizationally, it's the whole thing, and they need to figure out what they need to do. If you're going to clean house, you need to do it now while you got a young running back and try to figure this thing out. But it honestly might be too late.
Yeah, I agree with that. Somebody in chat said tank for Mendoza. I mean,
uh-oh. You like that. You like that. You like that. You want to, yeah, you like that. Get your Indiana guy up in there.
I don't know if I want to see him go to the Raiders.
You're like, I want better for him.
Yeah, that's like, no, yeah, I don't want him to go to the Raiders, respectfully. Same person said Raiders haven't been good since 03. Yeah, Raiders haven't been good since they left Oakland.
Yeah.
Vegas has not been a good stint for them, but hopefully they get us a little bit of that Vegas luck and then turn some stuff around. But right now, like you said, it might be too late for them. I am entertaining some of the comments that people have made about Chip Kelly potentially going back to Ohio State. Have you seen those by chance?
I feel like things are going good for Ohio State. You know, no need to bring them back. You left. You left. Don't come back to me now because it ain't work out.
Right. Yeah. You walked right out of Ohio State's door.
Yeah.
You left Columbus for a $6 million bag just to coach 11 games. Someone said he should go to Penn State. Now, I'm not going to advocate for that because if he's going to go to the Big Ten, I'd rather have him go to a Big Ten school that I like. So, no, but I see where your head is at. I see where your head's at. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about special advisor for Ohio State. Obviously, he was the offensive coordinator at OSU last year when they won the national championship. I don't think that they need him, but I do think it would be kind of funny. They have a great offensive coordinator now, so definitely not trying to replace anybody, but a little somebody a little extra someone in the ear, make the playoffs a little interesting for OSU. But yeah, I thought those speculations were interesting. I doubt that's going to happen. We'll see where Chip Kelly ends up landing, but I don't think he's going back to Ohio State.
Nah, I don't see it.
No, not at all. Not at all. I do want to transition to the Baltimore Ravens, chat a little bit about Lamar Jackson. I saw a tweet go out earlier, and it said October 12th, Ravens fell to 1-5 on the season. November 23rd, Ravens are 6-5 and sit atop the AFC North. As we all know, Lamar Jackson was out with an injury during that span of time. What do you feel like that says about Lamar Jackson, and what does it say more importantly about the AFC North?
I think it tells me more about Lamar. I mean, AFC North is bad, but it tells me a lot about Lamar Jackson because I think a guy that comes back, you see the direct impact he has when he's not there. And then you see the direct impact that they have when he is there. And it's like, at this point, I'm really still trying to figure out that teams were really not trying to trade for this man. Like, I always go back to that. I think I always go back to like, there's no way you all were colluding this much against him that you didn't want to trade for him. And it is just shown that when he's out there, that team is better. The team is not good. The Ravens are not good right now. They cannot be trusted right now. He knows that. I want to say he sat there and said, like, we are still not good enough. Like, yeah, we're winning these games, but like, we are not good. It's almost the same thing of AJ Brown and the Eagles. He's like, we winning, but we're not good. Like, there are problems here. Lamar has been very honest, I feel like, this season. Like, we suck. Yes, we're winning, but we're not good. And when you stack it up against that AFC North, it's like, can we really sit here and say we're this good? Like, look at what we're competing with, because we have no business being at the top. We really don't.
Right.
We really true. But everyone's so bad that like you could be pretty average right now in this division and find yourself right where you need to be. But I think it tells us a lot about Lamar Jackson, how special of a player he is. But we also got to be honest. You can see that he is still a little bit injured. Some of those explosive plays don't look the same. You could tell it's a little bit different. And I think that is something that's a cause of concern.
Yeah. You see him run. He's not running the same. Like you said, the explosiveness Wow. Explosiveness is not all the way there. Um, but yeah, then the comment you made about, I think he said it specifically that's like it's just not, it's inadequate. It's not quite up to par, it's not up to standard. Oh, it was Emmanuel Acho's comment on that tweet because he had quote tweeted it and he was like, they need to give Lamar part ownership at this point. And I thought that was funny because I'm like, didn't you not vote for him for MVP? Like you voted for Josh Allen and now you're turning like this is not making sense on your part, but all right. I'm that no further comment. But yeah, Lamar's impact, he definitely makes that team way better than how they appear on paper. I'm interested to see what these next few weeks look like, especially as they face more conference play. I think they have the Steelers coming up, and they have tied records right now, I believe. And they play them in week 14, week 18, so those should be good games. And then, just like I said, some other AFC matchups. I am curious to know from your perspective. Do you think? And I feel like we already know the answer to this, but do you think that they are a threat to the top teams in the AFC?
Out of respect, I want to say yes, but in reality, I want to say no.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel weird about the NFL this year, period. Like, there's not many teams in most of these divisions I'm just like, yep, you're a threat. Like, I don't know. It's very weird, but I think for the Ravens and, like, just that division specifically, like, they're always going to be a threat because of Lamar. And I think that speaks to just how great he is, especially to all of us and, like, to the NFL specifically. So if he's healthy or at least 80% and he's out there, they're a threat. If he ain't out there, they ain't no threat.
Hey, that's fair. I respect that. Someone in the chat said Joe Burrow is expected to play on Thursday too. Do they play? Or are you just
Joe
saying
need to go.
They don't play them, right?
Joe need to go ahead and call this season wraps. Let's go ahead and just get ready for next season. Rushing back, end up hurt again. We could just regroup next year. It's too much going on. We got this injury, Jamar Chase spitting on people. It's just too much going on. It's too much. Zach Taylor still got a job. It's too much, you guys. It's too much.
Oh, they do play them. That's the Thanksgiving game. Interesting. Yeah, you said Jamar Chase. Yeah, Jamar and Jalen Ramsey. That was interesting.
What beef everybody got with Ramsey? You saw they got into it. Gardner Johnson was over there trying to fight him too. I'm like, why is y'all treating Jalen Ramsey like this?
Okay, but in all fairness, have you seen the interviews of Jalen Ramsey talking about how grimy he is as a player? Like he likes to do stuff to get into his opponent's heads. He be on one. He be on one. So
he definitely
I can understand why people don't really like him like that. And he probably gets into more arguments than most because
for sure. For whatever he said to Jamar that made that man spit on him, I want to know what he said. Because whatever he said, that man was fed up. He was like, I'm not, but to sit there and be like, what did he say? He said, I'd never open my mouth to that man.
Like, and then you caught him 4K. Don't lie.
Like, that was funny. And you saw he had like his apology. I'm like, man, it is what it is.
Right. Save it. Like, we all moved on. You should too. It's okay.
Yeah, it is. We caught you. You lied. Right. It's fine.
It's fine.
You got your suspension. Let's move on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone in the chat said Ramsey plays mind games for real. He does, and he's talked about that openly.
He pushed Caleb Williams. He was running out. He just pushed him, and Gardner Johnson was like, I'm like, yo, but he did. He threw him. He threw him. Caleb ate ground. He ate some ground. He did. Like, I was like, come on, Jalen. Like, you could have let him go.
Speaking of some players who have a little bit of beef, we're getting a little bit of tussle, some arguments. We got John Morant and Klay Thompson. Yeah, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it, chat. We gotta talk about it. John Morant said to Klay, "You a bum now." And then Klay had this to say in the post-game presser. He said he's a funny guy with no accountability, just running his mouth. He's been running his mouth a long time. It's funny you run your mouth when you're on the bench. It's kind of been the whole story of his career so far. Lachelle, I'm going to toss it to you. What are your thoughts on Ja's comments, Klay's comments, and just the situation as a whole?
Calling that man a bum is crazy. Like, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, I don't care how bad Klay is playing right now. I would never fix my mouth to that man. He a bum. He ain't playing great, but he ain't no bum. So let's just stop there. Also, too, it's like, you are on the bench. So I don't know why you're out here. And the whole reason that Klay was even upset is because your teammate sat there and tried to hold his ankle to make him fall down. And even Cooper got up like, why are you holding my ankle? So, like, Klay to me was being the vet. Like, hey, let's not be dirty. Let's be cool. But I don't know. Ja, I felt like he was just waiting for a moment. Like, I gotta insert myself. Calling that man a bum is crazy. But Klay's response was so, like, I don't even think people really understand, like, what he said to me is way worse than you calling that man a bum. He basically told us, you have left a lot for us to desire.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the rudest thing to tell somebody who's probably trying their best. You have left a lot for us to desire because you've been on the bench most of this time and you don't take accountability. That man hit him with so many quick jabs that I'm like, him calling you a bum doesn't even equal to what you just told this man. He's an underachiever. He isn't accountable. He's always on the bench. In that he has left a lot for us to desire. I wouldn't want to talk to Klay anymore. Leave that man alone. Leave him and Meg Thee Stallion alone. Leave that man alone. Leave him alone. It was not necessary. I don't want to hear everybody talking about it's sports, it's this. Come on, man. Like, you calling that man a bum is crazy. You could call him anything else but a bum. That's not even accurate. Come on now. Let's be real.
No, I 100% agree with you. I mean, if you look at Klay's resume, at 26, he had a championship. He had 2 finals appearances. He had an Olympic gold medal. He had the most points scored in a quarter. He was the second best player on a 73-9 team. Ja, in comparison, is so far behind him in terms of accomplishments. I don't even know if he will see the league at age 35. Even you just look again, Klay's resume, he tore his Achilles after tearing his ACL, and he's played in more NBA games than Ja. Ja's missed 40% of his career games at the age of 26. So yeah, to call somebody a bum when you're in street clothes on the bench is a wild thing to do. Like I said, Klay may not be playing the best, but don't pick on him. he's not.
Don't do it, because now, like, that's just weird. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's why I don't believe any of these athletes when they're like, I don't look at the internet. You're lying, because that has been the conversation on the internet is about Klay and how bad he's been playing. So, like, to all of a sudden you're like, you're a bum. I'm like, you read some tweets and you sat there and was like, he sure is a bum. And next time we see him, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Now you most likely finna be in a Meg Thee Stallion song because she gotta defend her man now. Now she gotta throw you in there and defend him. Cause I know she was upset. I know she was like, wait a minute. Called you that.
I'm dead. Not the Megan Thee Stallion song. Someone in chat said he was talking to him like a disappointed dad. That's funny.
Like, he was so disgusted. It was like he kind of laughed a little bit before he started to, like, man, like, you're a disappointment to us. Like, that's really honestly, that is, chat, you're spot on. That's exactly what he said. You are a disappointment to us.
It was the part that got me. It was like, the reporter basically asked, like, what did he say? And this was like the first part of the conversation is like, nothing of intellect or something like that. I forget the exact word, but he definitely said like nothing of intellect or nothing intellectual. Like,
fed up. He
Going
fed up.
on
He
him,
like,
man, yeah.
man, leave me alone. Like, I'm over here just trying to do what I gotta do. Like, calling that man a bum is like, and Grizzlies fans are like, it's okay, it's basketball. I'm like, no, dog. Like, there's so many things you could trash talk about, but calling that man a bum, like, y'all are calling people bums who are first ballot Hall of Famers, champions. Like, what are we talking about? I don't care if that man go out there and score 0 points for the rest of his career. There is no world where Klay Thompson is a bum. Stop it.
Some of the chat says it's because he dates Meg. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I see your point. I see your point. We do have to note though that Klay has had some beef with the Grizzlies for some years now. So this isn't the first time we've seen him out here arguing with Memphis and their roster. So I do think people are picking on him a little bit more because of that, but I don't think that this is just an incident that is related to that. I think this is just some ongoing beef with the Memphis Grizzlies. They said they testing Klay's gangster.
Listen, Klay already had to defend his girl. You saw when he defended her. Now Patrick Beverly, I'm telling y'all, better leave that man alone. Leave that man alone. I don't think he playing fair with y'all. Like, for real. So every time somebody pick on him, something bad happened later on to that person. So I think y'all should just leave him be. Leave him be.
Because where's Pat Bev right now?
Hey, hello. Like, leave that man alone. Leave that man alone. He just trying to get to the end of his career. Hey, leave him alone. Call somebody else a bum.
After. Yeah. He said every time somebody pick on him, something happens.
Leave him alone.
Oh gosh, that was funny. Okay, we gotta pivot. We're gonna talk about a little WNBA action because the draft lottery was the other night. The Dallas Wings secured the #1 pick again in the 2026 draft lottery. Now that the order is set, Lisha, I want to hear your early mocked draft positions. We can do top 5, and I'm going to remind everybody what the order is. We've got the Wings first, we got the Lynx second, the Storm third, the Mystics fourth, and the Sky fifth. So, what is your prediction for each of these picks?
If I'm the Dallas Wings, it is between AZ and Awa fam for me, and I think I will go Awa. I just don't think people understand how good she really is, and it's just a fluidity to her game that I think works really well with Paige in a 2-man game. If you take AZ though, Arike gotta leave. So I'm gonna go Awa at 1 for the Wings. For the Lynx, everybody dang near not even under contract. So I feel like they need a true point. So I wouldn't be mad at Olivia Miles. I think they need a true point. That wouldn't be bad. Okay, Storm. I can see the Storm possibly wanting another guard. I wouldn't be mad at Flage. I think Flage is going to rise up on a lot of boards later on once March Madness starts. I just think everybody's a little asleep. Mystics, I would take AZ. I mean, already a DMV legend as it is. Like, I can see her with the Mystics, stay with that young core, more shooters, more scorers, build off of that. And then if I'm the Sky, you don't need a big either. Dang, Lauren Betts is nowhere in my top 5. Crap.
Some of the chat, we got Louis in the chat. He said, but what about Lauren?
The Wings don't need a big because they could end up signing a big. And then Minnesota doesn't need a big either because you have Fee. Storm don't need a big because they took Dominique Malunga and they still have NECA. I mean, in the Sky don't need a big either because you got Camilla and you got Angel. Like, I don't know. The top 5, a lot of them don't need bigs to me. And Awa is not a big. She's more of a forward. And I feel like you could use her in different ways. So the Sky one's hard for me because a lot of people want them to get a guard. But I'm like, they literally just got Haley Van Lith. So what is the point in having her if you're going to go get another guard?
Sure.
So I'm stuck on the 5th. I don't know where Lauren fits for me. I think that's where it's struggling with my mind. I don't know where she fits yet.
We have ESPN giving us their early draft predictions with Fudd going first, Fam going second to the Lynx. We've got Miles going third to the Storm, Betts going to the Mystics, and Flage going to the Sky. How do you feel about that order?
That's not horrible. I could see, because I guess if you have Kiki and you have Lauren, you kind of get that forward center dynamic that they're probably needing because they have a ton of guards. I mean, they got Sonia, Georgia Amore ended up getting hurt. So, like, they have a core. I can see that. I mean, I think everyone just wants Dallas to take AZ, but it wouldn't be a bad situation. But I'm like, they need height. Like, they're going to need some length at some point. I don't know if you get that, but I don't think that top 5 is horrible. I mean, Flage to Chicago, though, I don't know. I don't know if they need a dynamic guard or they need a true point guard. That's the hard part for me.
I'm not gonna lie, that AZ in Dallas, that would be fun.
It sells tickets.
Yeah, sure.
But will it win you basketball games? That's what I want to know, you guys. Will it win you basketball games?
And only one thing will let us know that. Well, I don't know. I mean, it probably could. They were on a team before together. So, I mean, granted, it's a very different team than what the Dallas Wings are, but like,
I mean, AZ's a perfect player to me. So, like, it's literally no diss to her. I think truly she is she's just like, it's boring to watch her. And that's like a great compliment. Like, she just does everything really well. It's not flashy. It's methodical. It's strategic. It's intentional. I mean, has one of the most beautiful shots we've ever seen. I mean, you got Steph Curry sitting there saying, like, there's Klay shot and then there's AZ shot. Like, those are 2 beautiful shots. Like, she could get any spot on the floor. She's really good at defense. I feel like she's showing that more. But, like, I want to see Paige with a little bit more of a 2-man game. I don't know if you could do 2-man game with AZ, but you could do it with Awa Fam for sure.
All right. I respect that. Had someone in the chat saying, I have a comment in the chat. I'm going to save it for a little bit because I'm going to let that be our hotline take. But we got another comment from Louis. Could Valkyries get a big? That was the team people thought would get Lauren. Somebody said Flage to the sky. What do you think on Valkyries getting a big or potentially Lauren going to the Valkyries?
They're 6, right? They're 6, or is it 7th? They're pretty high up.
I want to say the tempo are 6. Let me look at the draft order again. Okay, we've got 6 is the tempo, 7 is fire. We got Valkyries at 8. So do you even think she'll be around by that point? That's really the question.
I just don't. I don't know if I'm just not convinced that out of the first 5, do they need a big? And I'm not convinced that the Mystics need a big. I guess it makes sense, but like the Sky don't need a big. The Lynx to me do not need a big. The Storm do not need a big. So it's like out of the Wings and the Mystics, do we truly feel like they need a big? If you could get Awa, so she's gone. She's going to go top 5, so she's gone. Out of those 2, it's like, do y'all really need especially because now we have free agency coming up. Almost everybody is not on contract. So like out of those 5, you could go get what you need later in the offseason. But like Toronto, I can see them being like new team. I mean, and they got Sandy and like she loves a big. She loves utilizing a big. So like I don't see her in that top 5. 6 through 10, I think is going to be better for her because those are teams that I think can utilize a big. Toronto being one, Golden State being another. And then again, Washington, I think, has like 3 picks in the first round. So like they could always, it's some doubling back, but that might be a hot take. I don't see Lauren in that top 5 off of need, not talent, but just off of need. But I can see Toronto wanting to build something. And I mean, what better place with a legendary coach? I mean, I could see them being like, we want Lauren and let's build from there.
Mm-hmm. That would be a great place to start for sure. I mean, new team, great coach, phenomenal player in Lauren. But like you said, it's out of necessity. You know, what do these teams need? Not necessarily what do we want to see or where do we want to see them go? Someone in the chat said, oh, wait, is the season going to even start in time if they have the CBA? Lockout is more likely, right? At this point, it seems like the conversations are going pretty well. From all the updates I've seen, I
feel like they're lying.
Really?
I feel like the WNBA just doesn't want to, because I think Malika asked Daphne about it during the lottery, and she kind of gave like a very PR answer. It was kind of like, we're working towards it. I think Malika was like, are you confident that by this November 30th deadline, we, will have something? And she kind of just was like, just trust, we're working as hard as we can. Like, no one could just say, yes, we will have it done. Rebecca Lobos was like, yeah, I think we're going past. Like, it has to be past this now. You can't it's no way. It's hard for me to believe they're going to have it done in a week. It's just, I don't see it. That's scary though. Going past and getting into December and January, like, that's just That's a little just dangerous territory, but that is a good question. I mean, we need this CBA done very quickly because a lot of these rookies, I think a lot of them are waiting to see, because there's a lot of juniors and certain players that are like, man, I could come back for another year then if this money ain't right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. I mean, once you get too deep into the start of the new year, things get tricky, especially as season starts to wrap up. Players deciding, hey, am I going to come back? Am I going to declare? So on and so forth. I didn't realize November 30th is in 6 days. That definitely changes my answer. I'm thinking it's still November 15th. What? What? Yeah, that's a quick turnaround time. Might not be looking too optimistic. We will see, and of course, we will report it for y'all. We're on Off the Record. LaShawn, I want to go ahead and pass it over to you to tee up our favorite segment of the night while I get you this question from the chat.
Chat, y'all know the rules. You send us hot takes. You send us your opinions or your questions. We answer them because y'all are scary and you didn't like calling us. So we kind of met you in the middle here. This question says, do you think the WNBA is going to become more Euro player dominant like the NBA? Whoever typed this, were you on my TikTok live recently? Because I went on a whole rant about how I believe the WNBA is going to have the same Euro player dominance as the NBA. And I feel like in the next 5 years, that's what it's going to be. I literally just had a rant about this. So I don't know if you're stalking me. Are you in my brain? Because I do agree.
A loyal follower.
I agree.
To follow up on your take. Okay, so you think that it's going in that direction. Do you think it's going in that direction from a college recruiting standpoint, pipeline to the league, or we are going to see more Jokic's where they're playing professionally overseas and then trying to get to the W?
More professional overseas pipeline that will find you in the W.
Okay.
I think a lot of these scouts are going overseas and they're like, man, these are pros. Like they're getting to have, it's almost like it's the Joker, it's Luka, you look at even Wemby, them having almost 3 years, 4 years of pro play, and then they come over and you're like, okay, you just got to get acclimated. And once you get going, it's yours.
Right.
In the women's game, you see us talking about more European players. I think that was a big conversation in the last draft where there were people that they were drafting that hadn't even agreed to come over here. I think the Chicago Sky were in that situation. They drafted a whole European player and she was like, I'm not even coming. I want to stay where I'm at. I think you see them want to have more of an impact. And I think a big thing people talked about with the new Dallas Wings coach, I think Coach Jose, he comes from a European background of scouting players and looking at that talent. And it's because they look a little bit more advanced. I mean, you look at Dominique Malunga, she's advanced. She's going to figure it out. But you're like, this is like another Wemby. In 5 years, what does this look like? And I think these European players, they're starting to have that realization, I could go over here and dominate and then make a ton of money, hopefully, brands, and get my name out there. And then I could come back to where I'm supposed to be for, the off season, take my time. But you can see that they want to be over here. I think they want to be in the W's game. And I think in 5 to 6 years, we're going to see that same thing that we saw in the NBA, kind of that surge where you got Joker. You just got all these guys. And you're like, man, they out here doing it that already were playing in the pros. But I think the W is on that path of having that dominance.
Yeah. I think from a business standpoint too, they need to go in that direction. Because what made the NBA as big as it is today is they expanded internationally. And that was in part by having more international players in the league. So if they want to get to that level and have that impact, granted, is the 5 to 6 year timeline the time to do that compared to, the NBA, it took them 40 years to get to that point, to expand to the world, to be a more international brand. I don't know, but I definitely think riding off this momentum, before it dies is definitely something to consider. And if that is, what it ultimately, I'm not saying that that's the reason why recruiting internationally should be a factor, but I think it definitely does play a role. And just like I said, building off of this momentum we have right now when it comes to visibility and eyes on the women's game. I am curious to know, are there any players that you're looking at who are playing overseas right now that you are thinking would be a great fit for the WNBA or any team in particular?
Other than Awa right now, there was this other player that I watched. Like, she's like still in high school, I think. I can't think of her name, but out of Awa, like I wasn't familiar with Awa's game until probably like a month or so ago. And I'm like, what are you doing over here? Like, what? Like, it's just sometimes you don't understand some of the talent until like FIBA happens or like, international play, and then people start posting these clips and you're like, who is this unicorn that's just out here? Like, Dominique Malunga is a great example. A lot of people didn't know about her. And then you look at the clip and you're like, why are you dunking a basketball? But I guess specifically for this draft, I am intrigued with Awa Fam. She moves with a really like elegance to her that I see a little bit of Asia Wilson in her game. Not specifically that, but just kind of being fluid, bouncing on your feet, able to just move around and be in that really good structure of the paint. She's a special talent. And I think the WNBA is leaning more, I think, towards a forward type of game, forward centers that are really dynamic, 3-level. I feel like every league goes through its things where like it's very guard dominant, then it gets really big dominant. And I think the W is like in their big dominant era where those forwards, those centers that can really be dynamic are prized possessions. And I think Awa Fam is up there.
Chat, let us know if you have anybody that you have on your radar. In the meantime, we appreciate you joining us for another episode of Off the Record. And we are live on Twitch every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Not specific. Guys, we've been over this before. Words are hard. 4 p.m. Pacific. So make sure to sub or hit that follow button. And if you miss any part of our stream, don't worry. Every episode is posted on YouTube the following day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. We're out.